NFL analyst Kay Adams makes a really big statement on our Baltimore Ravens and has two players in particular who she's keeping her eye on to make a big jump in 2024. You're going to want to hear what she has to say. Plus, PFF just released some interior defensive lineman rankings, some linebacker room rankings, and it's leaving some Ravens fans scratching their heads. Plus, we got Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers getting together for a private workout and much more Ravens news. So welcome into another episode of Ravens Reports. It's your guy Noah here for the flock. As always, bringing you guys our top 5 news reports and storylines coming out of our Baltimore Ravens today. Plus, our Orioles just put the whoop down on the Tampa Bay Rays, beating them in back-to-back days, getting a 9-5 win. So it's a good day, man. Let's talk about at number 1, Kay Adams. She talks about how 16 starters from the Ravens, from this last year in 2023, where the Ravens were the best statistical team in the NFL, made it all the way to the AFC Championship, fell short. Well, that team has lost 16 starters, and they got some guys to replace. They got some work to do, and that's what the Ravens are working on right now. That's what we've seen. But one guy that we've been talking about lately who, I was wondering if some national media analysts like Kay Adams and others were going to catch on to this guy. That's Trenton Simpson. And she actually got to speak to Trenton Simpson, had him in for an interview before the draft last year. So here's what she had to say on Trenton Simpson.
I've got to talk about what the Ravens lost a lot over the past couple of weeks. 16 guys, 16 from last year are now elsewhere. Patrick Queen, Clowney, OBJ, 60% of the starting O-line. There are holes that need to be addressed. But this week, it's been fun to hear from some of the guys who are excited, stepping up, know that they've got an opportunity with those spots missing. And one of them is 2023, I think 3rd round pick, Trenton Simpson. Okay, he is taking Patrick Queen's spot next to Ro. He's going to be next to Roquan, which has me excited, fans excited, players on the other ball by the side of the ball taking notice as well. Here is tight end Isaiah Likely and how he has looked in practice so far.
I'm gonna give him a little credit today. He definitely beat me on the rep today. I know y'all seen it. I really like losing a lot, but he definitely, he's showing, that he's ready for the opportunity. I mean, he's showing that he definitely took this offseason. He's taking this offseason, well, like a pro. He's definitely showing that, what you guys seen on tape against Pittsburgh wasn't a fluke. He's fast, he's physical, he's listening.
That your biggest strength is on the field?
I would say definitely my spying the quarterback, blitzing. I feel like when I'm moving full speed, that 4-4-3 translate on the field. Every time I'm taking off and I'm moving at full speed, but I definitely blitzing. I feel like I have a great ability to understand angles, to tackle whoever has the ball, but really spying the quarterback and really blitzing off the edge. Like I know when I blitz, I'm going for the strip sack. I'm always a turnover guy. Want to be a playmaker at all times. So that's definitely my best attribute.
Okay, versatility, aggressiveness. He sounds like a Ravens linebacker, and I don't know how I didn't see it coming back then when interviewing him. By the way, you didn't hear him wrong. He ran a 4.43 40, you guys. So if he's soaking things up from Roquan, getting the love from Isaiah Likely and his teammates, and he's making the right reads with that kind of 4.43 speed, they might not miss Patrick Queen as much as everyone assumes and everyone thinks. He's certainly a player I've got my eyes on through training camp as an absolute stud going into 2024.
Then she went on to talk about Rashad Bateman and what Mark Andrews had to say. And then she talked about what this offense could look like in year 2 with Todd Monken, and even went as far to say that this could be the best Lamar Jackson-led offense we've ever seen, and this is going to be the NFL's scariest team. Here's what she had to say.
Another player expected to step into a big role this year is former first-rounder Rashad Bateman, okay? Rashad Bateman, a guy I was really high on for the past 3 years, hasn't quite worked out for him. A lot of injuries. We haven't seen him produce at the level that we all know and hope that he can. Usually, first-rounders that have these kind of bumps in the road are getting their 5th-year options declined. They're getting their 5th-year options traded. So this is interesting, and it sort of caught Hamilton's eye that DaCosta and company announced that they're extending him this week. It's a little bit of a, oh, interesting. It doesn't happen that often. So Bateman said yesterday that even he is surprised by that. So he clearly, has done a number on the coaching staff, and they know more than we do, and the front office, in terms of faith and what he can do when healthy, when given an opportunity. And it's showing up in OTAs as we're seeing and we're hearing. Mark Andrews asked after practice what it was going to take for Bateman to have the breakup that we all would love to see. And listen to his emphasis here.
I think it's happening right now. I think he looks incredible. Everything. His route running, catching the ball, being where he's supposed to be. He's got it down to a science. I know he's worked real hard, but he looks as about put together as he's ever been. So it's going to be a big year for Rashad Bateman. I'm calling it now.
Okay, so if he can do that, and I believe Mark Andrews and Zay and Derrick Henry and those tight ends, it's possible to think we're going to get, and Lamar looking the way it is, this offense might be the best we've seen with a 2-time MVP. I don't even know what to make of that. Like the Ravens right now look like the scariest team in the NFL by far.
So shout out to Kay Adams for staying on the Ravens bandwagon when a lot of national analysts jumped off, right? After losing Jadeveon Clowney and Patrick Queen and so many other guys, some coaches as well, a lot of analysts are not even favoring the Baltimore Ravens to win the division, yet alone be a, contendable playoff team. At number 2, Roquan Smith hosts a little camp here for the kids. I love it. And they had some other Baltimore Ravens attending here, helping out. I love whenever the players get involved in the community. And I love when the other players, other teammates support each other's causes and, show up for each other's community events and camps. That's really cool to see. And at number 3, speaking of Roquan Smith in this linebacker room with Trenton Simpson, the Ravens didn't even make the top 10 list as far as linebacker rooms heading into 2024. Now, I understand that losing Patrick Queen's a big question mark, and, Trenton Simpson's got to go out and prove it, right? I know he has a lot of talent, and we have high expectations and hopes. We saw the big game in Pittsburgh last year, but he's still got to go out and prove it. But the simple fact of having Roquan Smith in your linebacker room should at least put you in the top 10, because Roquan Smith is either number 1 or 2 as far as best linebackers in the NFL. It's between him and Fred Warner. So that kind of elevates your room a little bit. Plus, the Ravens do have some other proven guys like Malik Harrison, who's played well, Chris Board, and, we know the potential, the talent that's there with Trenton Simpson, but Ravens don't make that list. And another list they did not make as far as interior defensive linemen, Justin Madubuike was absolutely robbed off this list. I'm just convinced that whenever the list maker was sitting down, going through the guys, ranking them, adjusting them, they just forgot about Justin Madubuike. There's no other explanation but to just forget that he's in the NFL or that he plays interior defensive lineman. And maybe they thought in their mind, well, he got 13 and a half sacks last year, so he can't be an interior defensive lineman. He must be an edge rusher or something, right? Maybe that's why they let him off the list, because there's no way you lead the entire National Football League in interior defensive lineman sacks. You become one of the highest paid interior defensive linemen in the NFL, and you're just completely left off a list. Like, they just had to have forgot about him. Justin Madubuike is an absolute dominant pass rusher from the inside, man, and there's no reason for him to not be on this list. Justin Madubuike, I think him, Roquan Smith, Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, there's a lot of rocks on this defense that even with some other turnover and a new defensive coordinator, this is going to be a good defense. And there's some guys on this defense that are going to carry the load and make some splash plays in the big time moments on the third downs when you need to stop, you need to get off the football field. There's going to be some big time players like Justin Madubuike that step up and get the job done. And at number 5, there was a lot of ruckus, a lot of talk about, Lamar Jackson not being in all the voluntary OTA workouts. He was at one of them. We saw the clips of him slinging the ball to some of his receivers, but, he missed most of them. I believe he missed 5 out of 6 or something like that. And there's talk about the chemistry and everything, but there was a clip that just came out of Lamar Jackson slinging the ball to 2 of his wide receivers. We got Zay Flowers and Nelson Aguilar both involved in this workout, which seems to be in Florida, where he's from, where he spends most of his off-season time, where his family's at, and all that good stuff, right? So even though Lamar Jackson wasn't in the last few days of OTAs, he's still getting his work in, and him and Zay Flowers are going to be a nasty duo this upcoming year, especially when you got the other weapons around them. You can't just focus on Zay whenever you got Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. And how about big number 22, Derrick Henry in the backfield, or Lamar Jackson taking off, or, Rashad Bateman or Nelson Aguilar making clutch plays, or the 4-3 speed with Devontae Walker, right? So you're going to have to you can't put all your attention on Zay Flowers, and he's going to eat. As always, man, smash the like button if you enjoyed today's content. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, man. Don't forget to have that subscribe and notification bell on, so we can keep you up to date on all of your Baltimore Ravens news and content, man. I hope you guys have a fantastic night, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.